you have to build your business in a way where you are getting more leverage every single year. And if you follow this channel, you've probably seen my videos on this, where leverage is basically when your inputs are far greater than your outputs. What you receive is a lot more than what you're putting out. So a lot of what is taught in real estate is not actually how you build a business. It's how you be good in your career of doing sales, but it's not actually how you build a business that gives you leverage year over year, right? So like a lot of what is taught is like run ads, call leads, and then like violently follow up with those leads. You need at least 11 touches to get a close, or whatever amount of touches it is, 7 or 11 or 14 or some ridiculous amount of times you have to call somebody before they do a transaction with you, or go knock on doors, and you go out and you knock 50 doors and that turns into blah, 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 and then you follow up with them. That's not leverage, because you're still only getting what you put out. Your inputs still equal your outputs. So, I've talked to a lot of realtors lately where I know a lot of them, their businesses have completely tanked. I guess that person probably knew me from TikTok or something like that. A lot of their businesses have completely tanked last year because sales tanked, right? Because they're doing the same things that aren't giving them leverage in their business, right? They're running ads, making calls, but every year, unless they sit at that desk and make 3 hours of calls, then their business will die. So I made the same mistake. As an example, in my first 2 years in real estate, or I guess my first year, all I did was short form content, which is amazing. And there is some leverage in that. Don't get me wrong, there is some leverage there. But the problem with short form content is, although it's great at getting deals relatively quick, within a month, 2 months, 3 months, it's hard to have leverage because your inputs are only greater so long as your ability to make the next piece of content is greater. You get what I'm saying? It's only as if your skills continue to improve, because now what they've done on social media is, before, if you had 100,000 followers, they would show your content to, say, 30% of your followers with every single piece of content that you make. So you could make any piece of content that you wanted and it would get shown to your followers. Well, now they've changed it where, like, I have 44,000 followers on TikTok, and a lot of my videos will only get like 2,000 views, because it doesn't actually show the content to the people that follow me. Followers no longer matter. The algorithms push good content. So if the content isn't good or viral or appeal to a larger audience, then it doesn't get shown to the audience. And this is harmful because you're kind of forced to barricade yourself into this pocket where you only create content for the masses. It's very hard to go deeper and get into the deeper topics on short form content. That being said, it's still, when you gain, it will still show a certain percentage of your followers, your content, if you're doing it right, but it's not the kind of leverage you're looking for, right? So leverage is basically, your business should either require less time to make the same amount of money, or the same amount of time to make way more money every single year. That's how you know that you've done leverage the right way. So, as an example, what I've now done to create leverage in my business is that I take everybody off of these short form platforms and they go into a newsletter. From that newsletter, I can promote projects, properties, offerings. I can also link them to YouTube videos that I've done on certain subjects. So now I'm taking that short form traffic and I'm directing it to long form video where they can get a more in-depth explanation, where they can spend more time with me. Because it takes 7 hours on average for the viewer to trust you. They have to spend 7 hours with you. It's very difficult to do on short form, doing 30-second videos. It's a lot of freaking 30-second videos. On long form, that might only be 20, 30 videos, depending on how long you're making them, right? So you take the short form traffic, you direct it to a newsletter with lead captures, and then you direct them from the newsletter to the YouTube content, which is more in-depth, gets them to trust you a lot more, shows them that you know what you're talking about, or whatever it is, right? They get to know a little bit more about your personality. So every year, my business gets easier to run, because every year I have more people to target. My inputs I'm doing the same YouTube video, now it's reaching more people. I'm doing the same short form video, now it's reaching more people. My inputs have greatly expanded from the very beginning, where a lot of people won't run their business like this. They treat it like a career, like it's a job, right? Oh, I'll just sit down, I'll make some calls. If the sales go up this year, or if I'm better at sales, I'll make more money, which is great. But next year, you got to do the same thing again to get similar results. So in real estate, it's my opinion that you should be doing things that give you leverage, that make it easier to make more money or spend less time doing this job every single year. And this is why I love social media, because that's exactly what it does. It gives compoundability in specifically long form, but even the short form as well, if you're doing it right and you're directing that traffic off of those platforms to other platforms or to your newsletter, right? So if you're a realtor, you're brand new, you're watching this, I made a big mistake by not doing YouTube for the first year that I was in real estate, and my business really suffered in 2022, a year later, because I didn't have any way to keep the leads in the funnel, so to speak, to nurture them, because not every single follower is going to see every single video. Where on email, if you have everybody gets the email. Not everybody's going to open it, but everybody gets it, right? So I made a big mistake by not being on these platforms or building these systems to have leverage and constantly, when those leads come into the funnel, keeping them in there. You're always in front of them. You're omnipresent. You're there on YouTube. You're there on TikTok. Now they're getting emails. You're freaking everywhere. They never forget about you. And that way you never lose these leads. And by doing the same thing every year, your business should increase the more people you bring into the funnel, because you've plugged all the holes in the funnel so they stay in there. So when they come in there, they stay in there, and you just keep adding more and more and more. And then now what you receive, your inputs, is much greater than your outputs. So if you enjoyed this, you should actually join my newsletter specifically for realtors, free resources, insights, everything in a texted format. The link is down in the description there. And you should also subscribe. I'm that 𝐎𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐒. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.